it going?
This is Rick.
This is Steve.
And we are on location today.
We're trying something
shooting
new.
Talk Smack to the Preacher at a strip mall.
Yeah. Random strip mall.
It's a place where we could get out of the wind a little bit.
Yeah. Away from people, because we hate people.
Well, at some point we want to be with people, but we figured we better figure out how to actually do this.
Yeah.
Outside the confines of a safe little church office.
Let's just say it was quite a struggle just to get to this point.
It's a funny story. It's a hoot. So I was telling Fish that this week or last week on a Facebook group that I'm part of called Emergent Village Community. Someone posted the question, which was, so let's say it's the zombie apocalypse.
Okay.
Just, like you do.
Yeah.
Let's say the zombie apocalypse happens.
Right.
And this person was saying, what emergent-ish churches or 21st century model churches, postmodern-y churches,
right,
grassrootsy, fringy things, how effective will they be in ministry during and after the zombie apocalypse?
Right.
Like what will the notion of being present in culture be? What would the notion of helping people be? What resources are you going to even have to be able to deal with an apocalypse? And then on top of that, what do you do about zombies? Like in Christian ministry? Like what?
Do you preach to the zombies?
Well, what's the selfhood of a zombie? I mean, that's
right.
What, is there salvation for zombies? Are they even alive? Are they
do they
people?
have souls? Yeah.
No, I mean it's you know what I mean. It's a big question.
Well, it depends, I guess, on which. There's so many different versions of the zombie story. There's the undead, where they rise up from the grave, like the Night of the Living Dead,
and they're just walking around.
Right, and then there's the version with there's some kind of bizarre chemical that goes into the air and turns normal people into zombie-like creatures. Mm-hmm. Those tend to be able to run. So I'm going to say that we're not in that universe because I hate those zombies.
I don't like the ones that can run.
No, I'm not crazy about them. I want
them slow.
Yeah, I like my zombies slow and stumbling.
Yeah. I feel better.
So if we're making this up anyway, let's just go with that.
Well, that's fine. It's all hypothetical.
Okay.
As far as you know.
And so we're going with that. And so I think the general prevailing attitude is that they don't have souls under those circumstances. They're already dead. Their souls are gone. Mm-hmm. Their bodies are just reanimated via some unexplainable phenomenon, which is obviously, also not in the Bible. So I guess how do you really deal with something like that? Let's say it happened. And
you were saying a minute ago if it's not in the Bible,
right,
then, like for instance, in Shaun of the Dead, one of my favorite zombie movies, one of the things that they talk about in their little mini sound bites from the TV,
right,
when it's first starting and then later on, is that people are religious leaders are calling this Judgment Day. So that whole
is that in Revelation, the idea of zombies?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Is it?
I don't know.
No, but I'm just
saying. That would be
saying,
something for you to jump in and tell us.
Please,
if it is.
Please go research that and let us know. Well, the idea is, I mean, how do you know how to apply the Bible if there's no Bible verse?
Right.
Which is what I was wondering about before.
Yeah, definitely it comes into play. So
those were zombies, by the way. I just walked by.
So let's say that it's not in the Bible, and how do you deal with that now that it's happening? I mean, do you freak out and say, well, it's not there, so now all the rules are out the window and none of it applies anymore? I guess that really kind of plays into the idea of where are the edges of your faith? Are they based on just the words in a book? Is that the end-all, be-all of everything in faith, or is there more than that? Mm-hmm. And so if you get into a situation that's way beyond anything the Bible speaks about literally, how do you deal with it?
One of the people that posted a comment on the Facebook on that post was the whole question of what does it mean to love your neighbor if half of your neighbors are now zombies?
Yeah.
I mean, and so like the running joke.
Is it okay to blow their heads off?
Yeah, no, really.
I
mean, maybe the best thing to do is just go ahead and blow their heads off.
Take them out mercifully,
because they're going through a tough time, obviously, and they're not human anymore.
Yeah. There's a movie called Dusk Till Dawn. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
I'm aware of it. I haven't seen it.
Harvey Keitel's character at the end says, "When I turn, you got to promise me you're going to kill me."
Right.
So, and he was a minister.
Right.
So, that's an interesting little sideline on that.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing in Shaun of the Dead when his stepfather turns, and,
right.
Dies, and then immediately turns into a zombie. Sean says to his mother, "That's not your husband."
Right. Which also brings up a question, and I don't want to get let's get too far into this, but we're going to have to wrap it up here. We don't have a lot more time. But let's just say, how does when that specific thing brought something to mind? When my dad aged, just before he passed away, he was suffering from Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, and he was not the same person toward the end that he was before. I still felt an obligation to love him and to be there with him and to, try to redirect him when he was having difficulties with his illnesses. But it was difficult. It was really difficult. And how do you deal with that when somebody gets angry and aggressive? And, obviously the extreme of that is a zombie scenario. But in reality, a lot of people who suffer from those diseases, their personalities changed radically and they became violent sometimes. So how do you deal with that?
Yeah. How do you understand the notion of selfhood?
Yeah.
When someone's self is so adjusted or shifted. Well, I mean,
it happens in a lot of scenarios.
There's there's the whole question of mental illness. The issue of what's the right way to minister to somebody who is, let's say somebody's dealing with severe psychosis and schizophrenia, and they're not able to differentiate different kinds of reality.
Right.
What does that mean then to be in relationship to that person and their understanding of God?
I think that's why it's so important to have a personal, human, living relationship with God, because they're going to be faced with those situations where you don't know how to react, where the circumstances are different than what you've been brought up to understand, and you just have to live it, and that's why it's so important to have that kind of faith. At least for me. What do you think? We'd love to hear talk from you.
Maybe one of our more bizarre posts ever, but I think there's something to it.
Maybe,
I hope so. All right.
Get involved. Let's hear from you. Maybe you can be here on this side of the camera with us next time.
Yeah, we'll meet somewhere, have coffee.
That'd be great.
We'll talk smack.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye.